Hello everyone, welcome to Lukmaan IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu newspaper analysis dated 25th of October 2023. In today's newspaper analysis, we are going to cover a mapping topic which will help you to solve questions related to related to mapping in prelims exam. And apart from this, we are going to cover important articles from the newspaper. The articles that we are going to cover will be from the mains and prelims perspective. So it is going to help you develop some understanding related to the ongoing issues. So with this, now let us quickly understand the number of topics that we are going to discuss. So this is the list of articles that we are going to discuss in today's newspaper analysis. So name of these articles along with their relevance according to the syllabus and the page number has been mentioned over here, right? So you can go through this list in your free time. You can also download this document in PDF format from the description of the YouTube video. So Chirag, thank you so much for joining. Good evening. Now the first topic that we are going to discuss today is Indian Himalayan states. Okay. So Indian Himalayan region has been in news. So that's why we will understand about Indian Himalayan states. Like how many states do we categorize as part of Indian Himalayan region? We are going to locate these states and we are going to understand about their significance. Alright. So this is a mapping topic. Name of the topic is Indian Himalayan states. So as part of Indian Himalayan states, we have 12 states in all. 12 states that includes Jammu and Kashmir also. As we know that Jammu and Kashmir has been bifurcated by the government. I mean, like initially it was a state, but some political decisions has been taken and then it has been converted into 2 union territories, right? So by ignoring the fact for some time that they have been converted into union territories. One of the union territory is union territory of Jammu and Kashmir and other union territory of Ladakh. Okay. Other is Ladakh, like that. So earlier, like the entire state of Jammu and Kashmir was counted as a state. So if we include it as one state, or we can have it as 2 union territories. Okay, let's consider for some time that this is one state, and apart from this particular state that we see, this is Himachal Pradesh. Okay, this state is Himachal Pradesh. Let us do one thing. Let us quickly draw a map of the Indian Himalayan region that will help us to solve questions also in the prelims exam. So good evening, Vijay Lal. Thank you so much for joining. So I'm just drawing a quick map of the Indian Himalayan region. Okay, I'm just drawing a quick map of the Indian Himalayan region. You can draw this along with me. So that will help you to be ready for mapping related aspects. So this is the northern portion of India, right? Now I'll be using some other color so that you can quickly understand about it. Okay, so let's say this topmost portion. Okay, let's say it is Jammu and Kashmir, J and K. So let's number it as 1. Then over here we have the state of Himachal Pradesh. So this will be number 2. Over here we have the state of Uttarakhand. I'm just writing it as UK, Uttarakhand, not United Kingdom. It's just Uttarakhand. Okay. So first state, second state, third state, knowing that Jammu and Kashmir has been divided into 2 union territories, J&K and Ladakh. Okay. Like that, Ladakh. So both of them represent UTs. Okay. Union territories, politically speaking. So this is going to be Sikkim. Okay. This is Sikkim. So Sikkim will be the 4th state in that sense. Over here, let's say over here, we do have portions of a state which is known as West Bengal. Okay, West Bengal. So this will be the 5th. Okay, West Bengal also has some of its areas right, that are included in Himalayan region, right? Apart from this, let's say, like, we will be having some other states also. In the middle portion over here, we do have a state of Assam. So I'm just writing inside it as state of Assam, right? Apart from this, in the northern portion over here, we have Arunachal Pradesh. Here, like, we have Arunachal Pradesh, right? Then here we do have a state. Name of this state is Meghalaya. Okay, we have Meghalaya. Apart from Meghalaya, we have two more states. One of these states is Tripura and Mizoram. Okay, this particular state is Tripura. This is Mizoram. Then over here we'll be having Manipur. Then we have Nagaland, right? And then we have Arunachal Pradesh. If we number these states one by one, so this Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, West Bengal. Then over here, let's say Arunachal Pradesh is the 6th one. Then we have Nagaland as the 7th one. Manipur is the 8th. Mizoram 9th. Tripura 10th. Then, like, we have Meghalaya 11th. And Assam as 12th. Right? Assam 12th. In Assam, some of the states, some of the regions are hilly regions. So they will be counted as part of it. Okay. So this comprises Indian Himalayan region. Okay. This particular thing, the map that we see over here. So it comprises Indian Himalayan region. So we need to do a mapping of the Indian Himalayan region. Why? Because Indian Himalayan region is in news, IHR. Every day, 1 or 2 articles are coming based on Indian Himalayan region. Why? Because people want to protect the Indian Himalayan region. Because of the fragility, right? It does have, let's say, like, environmental fragility in this region. So we want to protect the Indian Himalayan region. For that, many articles are coming with different perspectives. Today also an article has come. We are going to discuss about that. So I hope it is clear. So these are the states, right? These are the states, and it talks about the vulnerability, climatic vulnerability of various states over here. Okay. Like legend, low, medium, high, etc. Okay. So the shaded portion show the Indian Himalayan region. So having understood this, now let us quickly understand about a topic. We are going to discuss about this topic in detail, and this topic is going to be very, very important. It says an India-Canada bonding that is in danger of snapping. Okay. So let's quickly understand about this topic. An India-Canada bonding. An India-Canada bonding that is in danger of snapping. That is in danger of snapping. Okay. An India-Canada bonding that is in danger of snapping. Chirag, there is a risk of disaster like flood, landslides, right. So there is a risk like disaster and all. So they are disaster prone regions. Okay. So that's the thing. So let us quickly understand about this topic. So this topic is related to international relations. Okay. It's part of international relations. Here we are going to talk about bilateral relations between two countries. Okay. Bilateral relations between two countries. Which countries we are going to talk about? One of the country is India, and the second country that we are going to talk about is Canada. India and Canada, right? So if we talk about nature of these two countries, right? If we talk about nature of these two countries are democratic countries. What? These two countries are democratic countries. means they do follow a system of democratic process of election. Both the countries abide international laws. Okay, both the countries abide what? International law. So India does abide international law. India has signed multiple treaties. Canada has signed multiple treaties. So they both are what? They both are the countries that are like international law abiding countries. But recently what has happened, as we all know, because of killing of a Khalistani person, a Khalistani activist in Canada, okay, a Khalistani person has been, Khalistani activist has been killed in Canada, okay, he has been killed in what? In Canada. And the Canadian Prime Minister has accused the government of India, it has accused the Indian officials of involving itself into the killing of this thing. And they have accused because like they have got the intelligence from one organization which is known as Five Eyes Alliance. Okay, they have got the intelligence from Five Eyes Alliance. That's the thing. So Five Eyes Alliance is a kind of, what kind of organization? It's a kind of, let's say, intelligence organization, intelligence grouping of, let's say, like 5 countries where Canada is a member, USA is a member, Japan is a member, Australia is a member, UK is a member, like that. Okay, so they are that's the thing. But because of this particular thing, a kind of diplomatic tensions has arisen. Okay, what kind of tensions? These are known as diplomatic tensions. Okay, diplomatic tensions between the 2 countries. And because of diplomatic tensions, India has decided, right? India has decided to reduce the number of, right? To reduce the number of Canadian diplomats, okay? Canadian diplomats on Indian soil, okay? We have decided to reduce it. Earlier there were 62 diplomats. But like we have thought of making it only 21 diplomats. So 21 diplomats from Canada are present in India. But this is not where the, let's say, like, tension has stopped. This was the escalation movement. So tension has escalated, and in India we have stopped the embassies, right? In Canada they have, let's say, like, stopped the embassies. So it is leading to a kind of problem. Okay, it is leading to kind of problem for people. What problem? For people. For which people? Those people who want to migrate from India to Canada. Those people who want to migrate from India to Canada. And also those people who want to come back from Canada to India. As we know that huge number of people are emigrants from India. Okay, emigrants. What? Emigrants. What do we mean by emigrants? Emigrants are those people who migrate from their country to another country, right? For seeking economic opportunities. So huge number of Indian diaspora, right? Huge number of Indian diaspora means like Indian people. They have settled in Canada. They have made a living over there. They have had their, like, families in Canada. So those people keep on coming and going from India, right? Means like from India to Canada, from Canada to India. But because of the diplomatic tensions, the number of, let's say, diplomats have been reduced. Some of the embassies have been closed. And this is leading to some kind of, let's say, stress among the immigrant community. So if we talk about these immigrant communities, so these people, most of these people hold a kind of semi-citizenship in India. Okay, they hold a kind of semi-citizenship in India. Although we do not have an official concept of having a semi-citizenship, but the thing is, like, these people are considered as overseas citizens of India. Okay, many of these people are considered to be overseas citizen of India. Okay, they are simply known as OCI card holder. Okay, OCI card holder. So those people who have got citizenship in Canada, but, like, since they were of Indian origin, right? So they also have some kind of OCI card holder, like they are part of this scheme, and as part of being OCI card holder, they can anytime come back to India, okay? They can reside for any longer duration that they want to stay in India, like that, okay? So this OCI card holder scheme that we have in India, this provides these Indian diaspora, these Indian people, right, who have resided in Canada, who are doing business in Canada, to come back. So these are those people who have permanently settled in Canada. However, the government of India gives them some kind of, let's say, like additional benefit that they can come back to India if they wish to, right? So this is the thing. But what has, let's say, like what problem it has caused is that like these people are facing difficulty in coming back. And also, so this is, let's say, like bilateral relationship. Now if we talk about like those people who are Indian citizens, right? Those people who are Indian citizens and they have settled in Canada. So Canada, like in Canada, largest number of immigrants, right? Largest number of immigrants are from India. Number of immigrants. Immigrants means those people who come from other countries, and emigrant means those people who go from their own country to the other country, okay, like that. So from India, they are emigrants, they go to Canada and they become immigrants in Canada. So presently Canada has a very good law that allows people to come and settle in Canada. So they have evolved this particular thing, but this law has not been this way for a long time. It has not been in this way for a long time. I'm going to talk about some act that they had earlier. One of the act that they had earlier is known as Continuous Passage Act of 1908. Okay, they had an act. So I'm going to write down name of these act. Okay, Continuous Passage Act 1908. What is this act all about? We are going to discuss about it. For example, if there are people who are coming from Japan, right? If there are people who are Japanese people, if they want to come to Canada, so they have to directly come from Japan to Canada. If they follow some other route, so they may be denied entry in Canada. Okay, similarly, let's say like there are some Indian people, if they go to Canada, but like if they are, let's say, taking the route from India to Japan and then from Japan to Canada, so these people can be expelled also. So this is precisely what has happened, let's say, like around a century back, more than 100 years back, right? In 1914, an incident has happened which is known as Kamagata Maru incident. Okay, this is known as Kamagata Maru incident. Kamagata Maru incident. So what is this incident all about? Long back in the month of May 1914, right, around 376 passengers, okay, around 376 passengers were on board on this ship which is known as Kamagata Maru ship. So this ship was a steamship. Okay, it was a steamship. What do we mean by steamship? Those ships that let's say that run on steam engine. Okay, those ships that run on steam engine. So they have, let's say, tried to let's say come to Vancouver. Okay, they tried to come to, let's say, come to Canada through an island, through a coast which is known as Vancouver coast. Once this particular ship, which is Kamagata Maru ship, arrived in Vancouver, so the authorities over there, they have denied entry to these people who were on boarded the ship. So they have, let's say, verified the documents of these people. They have verified from where the ship came, and out of 376 people, only about 10 people were allowed to take entry to Canada directly, because these 10 people have earlier resided in Canada, so they had proper documentation. They were allowed to, let's say, like come to Canada, but other people were, let's say, made to wait in the ship itself, Kamagata Maru ship. They have waited in the ship for about 2 months, and during this period of 2 months, these people were given very less, let's say, food supplies, very less support. So the thing is, like, many people felt it to be a harsh thing, and even inside Canada, even in Canada, right? So there were some kind of opposition among the people. So people were also divided. Some people were in favor of giving them entry into Canada, allowing them to be part of, let's say, like, come to Canada, take an immigration, but other people were totally denying this particular thing. The government was also of the opinion that these people should not be allowed entry, because at that point of time, the acts, the rules that they had, they were discriminatory in nature. They were discriminatory in the form of caste related things also. So the thing is, like, one of the act that they have applied is Continuous Passage Act. According to this act, those people who are directly coming from their country of origin to Canada, they will be given entry. Otherwise, those people who have followed, let's say, other routes from their country to another country and then to Canada, they will not be allowed entry. So, like, most of the people were denied entry into Canada. They have come back to India, and when they came back to India, in India, let's say at that point of time, right, Britishers were there. So Britishers had a fight with those people. I mean, like, in this ship, many people were Punjabi people, I mean, from India. Some were Muslim people, like that. So these people, when they arrived in India, so these people, I mean, like, had a tussle with the British authorities, and many people died also. So this particular incident, which is known as Kamagata Maru incident, it is a, let's say, dark chapter. Okay, it is a dark chapter in Canada's immigration policy. Okay, it was a dark chapter in Canada's immigration policy. That's the thing. So what has happened later on in the year of 2016, the Prime Minister of Canada has officially apologized to the family members of those people, let's say, who were not allowed entry in Canada through the Vancouver. Okay, through the Vancouver. That's the thing. Okay, so this was the case. And the thing is, like, India and Canada being, let's say, like, democratic countries, they have signed multiple treaties. One of the treaty is mentioned in this article. This treaty is known as Global Compact for Safe, Orderly, and this treaty is known as Global Compact. Okay, this treaty is known as Global Compact for Safe, Global Compact for Safe, Orderly, and Regular Migration. Okay, safe, orderly, and regular migration. So this particular treaty, this particular pact was signed by both the countries, means like India and Canada. So India and Canada are signatories to this treaty. So this treaty says Global Compact for Safe, Orderly, and Regular Migration, means those people who want to migrate from one country to another country, those people who want to come back to the other country, from other country to the first country, so they should be allowed, let's say, easy entry. And like India and Canada does have a established diplomatic relation. Okay, they do have established diplomatic relations, so that's why it allows people to do. However, because of the recent tussle, because of the recent problem between these two countries, the people are facing difficulty in emigrating from India, or let's say, like, coming back to India from Canada. Okay, this is the thing. So in this article they have mentioned this. I will also showcase the map of this particular thing. So Chirag has said Australia, New Zealand, Canada, US, UK. Okay, Australia and New Zealand is there. All right, so they are members of Five Eyes Alliance. Okay, now we have so Japan is not. Okay, all right, now we have this particular map. Over here, try to see this map if it is visible, right? So this is the map of, let's say, North America as a continent. Okay, it showcases North America as a continent. To the, let's say, north of this continent, we have Canada as a country. Okay, so to the left side of it, to the southwestern side, we have a island which is known as Vancouver Island. Okay, this is Vancouver Island. So this is where those people have tried to enter, like, these people have tried to enter Canada through this particular route, but these people have been denied entry. Okay, so like I have included some other maps also. You can go through it. This will help you to, let's say, answer questions. This year, many a times this topic Kamagata-Maru incident came. So there is a likelihood, there is a possibility that Kamagata-Maru incident may be asked in the prelims exam by UPSC. Okay, you can go through this in your free time. Now we have one question based on this topic. It says, with reference to the Citizenship Amendment Act 2015, with reference to the Citizenship Amendment Act 2015, consider the following statements. So it says it has introduced a new scheme which is known as Overseas Citizen of India card holder. In short, it is known as OCI card holder, by merging the PIO card scheme and OCI card scheme. This is one of the statement. Second, it says it replaced the nomenclature of Overseas Citizen of India with that of Overseas Citizen of India card holder. Okay, so which of the above statements is correct? Okay, so which of the above statements are correct? So everyone, I just want you to participate, because this topic we have discussed earlier as well. Okay, just participate and write like what you think is the right answer for this question. Okay, just participate and write. So correct answer is option C, as has been said by Chirag. Okay, so both the statements are correct. So this Citizenship Amendment Act of 2015, they have introduced Overseas Citizen of India card holder scheme. They have merged the PIO and the OCI card scheme. Okay, so that's the thing. So both these statements are correct. You can go through the detail in your free time. Then we have another topic. It says mitigating tragedies in the Himalayan region. Okay, so in the beginning today we have mapped the Indian Himalayan region. Okay, we have mapped what Indian Himalayan region. So this topic is related to that that mapping thing. So let us discuss about this topic in detail now. Name of the topic. Okay, name of the topic is, quickly, it says mitigating tragedies in the Himalayan region. Mitigating tragedies in the Himalayan region. So we are going to discuss about this topic. Okay, so why Himalayan region is in news? Because of a kind of disaster in Sikkim, right? A kind of disaster that has happened in Sikkim. This disaster is known as Glacial Lake Outburst Flood. In short, it is known as GLOF. So what are glacial lake outburst flood? So basically, like if we talk about the mountainous regions, right? If we talk about mountains, so on the mountains, generally on the top of mountains, we do have, let's say, ice sheets that are there, totally covered ice sheets. So these ice, I mean, like, they slowly and gradually they retreat also. They go downstream, they go down. So these are known as glaciers. Okay, these are known as glaciers. And these glaciers, let's say, like, if they get some kind of this region where the temperature is little high, so that this the ice melts and they form water, right? They form water. So they form a kind of lake. This lake is surrounded by something which is known as moraines. Okay, they are surrounded by moraines. So the thing is, like, this lake sometimes, like, it breaks the boundaries, and all of a sudden all the water that was, let's say, like, confined within the boundary of the lake, it may come down. It may come down the slope. So that is known as glacial lake outburst flood. So this lake automatically, like, all of a sudden it outbursts, and like it leads to flood kind of situation. So this flood kind of situation has been, let's say, experienced, right, in the state of Sikkim recently. Okay, in the state of Sikkim. So this is where Sikkim is located. This is where Sikkim is located. All right. So Sikkim has been in news recently because of this activity. So in this article, they have talked about that, like, how do we mitigate the tragedies in the Himalayan region? Mitigating means reducing the impact, reducing the effect, right? What do we mean by mitigating? Mitigating means reducing the impact. Okay, it means reducing the impact. So it says mitigating the tragedies in the Himalayan region. If we want to mitigate the tragedies in the Himalayan region, we need to do a lot of things. One of the things that was earlier suggested is that, like, we need to do an environmental impact assessment of the Indian Himalayan region. If we do environmental impact assessment, we will be able to understand like where fragilities may lie in the Indian Himalayan region. This is the thing. Apart from this, yesterday they have talked about, right? Yesterday they have talked about another thing, like another article came, and in that article they have discussed about that, like, not only we need to do environmental impact assessment, we also need to monitor it. Indian Himalayan region regularly. We need to monitor the Indian Himalayan region regularly, and the construction activities that happen over there. Okay, the construction activities that happen over there. These construction activities should be, right, should be regulated. Okay, construction activities should be regulated in the Indian Himalayan region. So previously this article came, and yesterday in that article they have also discussed about, right, they have discussed about to identify about ecological footprint. What? Ecological footprint. Or they have discussed about doing a carrying capacity analysis. Okay, doing a carrying capacity analysis. So related to carrying capacity, Supreme Court of India had given a judgment earlier, and in that judgment Supreme Court of India has said the central government that why you are not doing the carrying capacity analysis, and Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has told to every state over there, every state, let's say in the Indian Himalayan region, to conduct a carrying capacity analysis. However, they have given the responsibility to the chief secretaries or principal secretaries of the state. Okay, so this has not given proper this has not given what proper results. So in yesterday's article they have talked about, let's say, including the local people as a stakeholder for providing data. If you include local people only also, they are going to help you in coming up with carrying capacity analysis properly. Okay, this is the thing. In today's article they say that institutional awareness of risk is increasing, but the challenge is to evolve a system to mitigate such risk and provide warning, early warnings. So we need to have early warning system. We need to adopt multidisciplinary approach. Okay, so today's article talks about adopting an early warning system, right? So already, like, India is known for, let's say, its proactive approach related to early warning system. We do have early warning system in place in coastal regions, so that, if there is a likelihood of any cyclone coming, right? So through early warning system, there is a department which is known as India Meteorological Department. It is known as IMD. IMD, let's say, gives forecast, gives data related to it. So IMD works in this thing, and also in this article they say, for early warning system we need to adopt multidisciplinary, okay, multidisciplinary approach to mitigate the tragedies, to mitigate the disaster. And this topic is part of disaster management. It is part of, let's say, GS paper 3, right? So you need to read about it. Apart from this, in this article they have talked about the role of National Disaster Management Authority, right? So National Disaster Management Authority has been created under the Disaster Management Act. So we do have a Disaster Management Act of 2005. Okay, we do have a Disaster Management Act of 2005. So this has set up National Disaster Management Authority, it has set up a State Disaster Management Authority, and it has also set up District Disaster Management Authority. Okay, so it has set up, let's say, authorities at different tiers, different levels of the governance. That's the thing. So this article is a good article. You need to read this article. It's going to help you to solve questions related to disaster management. Okay, I have included some let's say graphics also for you, so you can go through this, right? It talks about vulnerability index of 12 Himalayan states. Okay, so it talks about vulnerability index. So 12 Himalayan states means it considers Jammu and Kashmir as one of the states, because this image is old. So although politically the Jammu and Kashmir has been divided into Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, but the thing is, like, geographically nothing has changed. The same thing is still let's say, like, is there. So this, like, the vulnerability index, you need to read this vulnerability index also. And why the Indian Himalayan region is an important region, because let's say, like, it has 4 global biodiversity hotspot. Then it is largest reserve of ice outside the polar region. So in the polar region, in North Pole and in South Pole, we have ice cover. But, like, this particular Himalayan region, it has the largest, let's say, like, reserve of ice outside the polar region. That's why also it is important. Then it says source of 10 major Asian river systems. Okay, Himalayan region is a source of 10 major Asian river systems. And it talks about diverse cultures, languages, religions, and traditional knowledge system. It has high biodiversity, and 330 important bird and biodiversity areas are there as part of this Indian Himalayan region. So you have read it. So that's the thing. Okay, so having understood this, now let us move to another topic quickly. This topic is also very, very important. Okay, I'll be very quick in covering this topic, but you need to read this topic. There is a likelihood that a question may be asked in the mains exam from this topic. Okay, it says crossing a line. Okay, name of the topic is crossing a line. So why crossing a line? Now we need to understand, in this topic we are going to understand about the difference between politics and bureaucracy. Okay, difference between politics and bureaucracy. Okay, difference between politics and bureaucracy. So this article is related to this topic. It is an important topic for GS paper 2. It is important for GS paper 2. It is important for Indian polity. You need to read the polity thing to understand this. What is the difference between let's say, like, politics and bureaucracy? So we are going to understand it through different headings. Okay, so this is the thing. First heading is nature and purpose. Okay, nature and purpose. So when we talk about bureaucracy, what is the nature? What is the role of bureaucracy? The purpose and work of bureaucracy is implementation. Okay, their purpose or their work is bureaucracy. I am simply writing as B, politics I am writing as P. Okay, to make it clear. So when we talk about bureaucracy, their purpose is implementation of, okay, implementation of government scheme and execution of government programs. Okay, execution of government programs. What is the role of the politics? Role of the politics is collective decision making. Okay, collective decision making. Role of politics is collective decision making, and also governance. Okay, and also governance. So this is the basic difference between bureaucracy and politics. What is the second difference? Okay, what is the second difference? If I talk about the second difference between this is decision making authority. Okay, second in terms of decision making authority. So when we talk about decision making authority of bureaucracy, okay, does bureaucracy have any role in decision making? So the thing is, like, these people in bureaucracy, these people are hired and they are appointed to their post. Okay, they are appointed to their post. They have very less decision making authority. They are not the policy maker. They have limited role in decision making. Okay, so only on those aspects where they have to implement the thing, there they can have, let's say, minute decision making capacity, but largely these people are just hired and appointed, so they do not have much decision making capacity. If we talk about the politics, so these politicians are, let's say, like, representatives of people. So these people are elected, okay, these people are elected, and that's why these people have a role in decision making, okay, they have a role in decision making. They can, let's say, like, make policies. They can make policies that will be, let's say, like, policies for the people. That's the thing. Third difference, if we talk about related to bureaucracy and politics, is accountability. Okay, third, in terms of accountability. So if we talk about bureaucracy, who they are accountable to? Bureaucracy, like in bureaucracy, people are generally accountable to their seniors. Okay, bureaucracy, they are accountable to their seniors and for effective implementation of the things only. Okay, for effective implementation of the things. They are largely not accountable to the, let's say, public directly. However, if we talk about the politics, the politicians are elected. Since they are elected, so they are accountable. Okay, they are accountable to the electorates. Okay, they are accountable to electorates. Electorates means those people who elect these politicians to, let's say, like, to the authority. That's the thing. So when we talk about accountability, accountability is more of the politicians. Okay, they are more, it is more to the politicians. And if, let's say, they do not do proper work, so these people can be voted down in, right? So in the next election, they may be, let's say, like, brought out of the power by the people. That's the thing. And the fourth, if you talk about fourth, so this is related to partisanship. Okay, fourth is partisanship. Okay, if you talk about partisanship, so the bureaucracy is considered to be, let's say, non-partisan. Okay, non-partisan. Why non-partisan? Because, like, they are there just to implement the government policies, just to execute the thing. They do not have to take the party line. They do not have to take the, let's say, party line in things. So they have to be non-partisan. They have to be non-discriminatory in their approach. Okay, they need to be non-discriminatory in their approach. Non-partisanship. If we talk about politics, so politicians have some kind of ideologies, and these people, let's say, take partisan line. Okay, they take partisan line, means, like, they represent a particular political party and hence they represent the ideology of that politics. So they are partisan. However, bureaucracy, they are non-partisan. That's the thing. Next difference is duration of the service. Okay, next like topic that we discuss about, it is duration of service. So if we talk about the bureaucracy, so they are career civil servants. Okay, they are career civil servants. What do we mean by career civil servants? It simply means once they are appointed, once they are hired, so they remain in the service for their tenure of the career, maybe for 30 years, 32 years, 35 years and all. And if we talk about politics, so they are there for limited tenure. Okay, they are there for limited tenure. Limited tenure means in case of India it is 5 years, in case of USA it is 4 years, like that. Okay, so like in case of bureaucracy, they are considered to be permanent executives and they are non-permanent executives, like that. Okay, so these are the basic difference. Now, having understood these differences, now let us talk about this particular topic. Which topic? The topic that is there, it says crossing the line. Okay, name of the topic is crossing the line. Okay, name of the topic is crossing the line. So why crossing the line? Because recently what has happened, BJP, the ruling party presently, so it has recently, let's say, like, talked about one thing, Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra. Okay, it has talked about Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra. So what is this Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra? Under this Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra, the Bharatiya Janata Party or the ruling party has talked about the let's say, like, I'm going to write down about it. It has talked about that the permanent bureaucracy or civil servants, they have to, let's say, have a yatra. They have to have a procession. In that procession, they have to talk about the achievements, right? They have to talk about the achievements, or they have to talk about good works of the government in last 9 years. In last 9 years means since the present government came into power, they have to advertise, the permanent bureaucracy have to advertise about the achievements of the government. They have to talk about the good works that they have done, and for that purpose they have talked about that these yatras will be headed by Rath Prabharis, and these Rath Prabharis will be the, let's say, like, secretaries. Okay, they will be secretaries, they will be directors, right, and they will be deputy secretaries, etc. Okay, deputy secretaries, etc. So who are secretaries, deputy secretaries? They are senior level IAS officer. They are very senior persons. And so these Rath Prabharis, so they represent bureaucracy. Okay, they represent what? They represent bureaucracy. So, but the thing is, like, it is not the work of the bureaucracy to take partisan lines, because bureaucracy is separate from the politics, as we discussed in detail, that what is the role of bureaucracy and what is the role of politics. But the thing is, over here, the present government, this government is asking the bureaucrats to have a procession, to have, let's say, like, Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra. And in that yatra, they have to talk about achievements of the present government, the achievements that they have had in the last 9 years. Okay, that's the thing. And this is being criticized by many let's say opposition party members. They are saying that, like, there is a distinction between elected representatives and the bureaucracy. The role of the bureaucracy is to be non-partisan. They have to execute the policies of the government, and the thing is, like, government should have a line of distinction between role of bureaucracy and the politics, and through this like, the government is crossing a line. Okay, this is the thing. So that's why we understood about the difference between politics and bureaucracy. So Chirag has written, Mrs. Gandhi has been disqualified for using constitutional machineries and funds for her political campaign. Does Mr. Modi's Sankalp Yatra and using IAS or IRS officers as Rashtrapatis, as, like, Rath Prabharis, not violation? It is a kind of violation, like, to my mind, but the thing is, like, if it is challenged in a court of law, in that case the judges have to take a decision related to this. Okay, in that case the judges have to take a decision whether, like, it is a violation or not. Okay, whether it is a violation or not. Now let us talk about another topic, but to my mind it is a violation of this thing. Okay, another topic, it says losses from extreme events over 31 years were 3.8 trillion. So this topic is also important under disaster management. Okay, this is also important under disaster management, and disaster management is part of GS paper 3 of the mains exam. Okay, it is part of GS paper 3. So if we talk about disasters, okay, if we talk about disasters, so disasters can be categorized into various forms. One type of disaster can be called as climatological. Okay, climatological. We can have climatological disasters, we can have geophysical disasters. Okay, we can have geophysical disasters. What is geophysical disaster? For example, earthquake recently came in Afghanistan, so that was a geophysical disaster. Climatological disaster, the glacial lake outburst flood that has happened, it is a climatological disaster. Or it then, like, we can have hydrological disaster also. Hydrological disaster. What hydrological? For example, if tsunami comes, right, if tsunami comes, so that will be a hydrological disaster. Then meteorological disaster and other. Okay, fourth is meteorological disasters. So there can be many such type of disasters In this article, they have talked about, like, you know, if we talk about extreme events over the last 30 years, these extreme events have caused damage to the properties, and this damage were to the tune of $3.8 trillion of damage. Okay, $3.8 trillion of damage. So in this article, what they have done, they have given four or five different charts, and these charts I have gone through. One of the chart, this chart one shows the number of disasters, right? Like according to grouping and total economic losses in billion. Okay, so in 1972, right? So this chart covers data from 1972 to 2022. In 1972, in 1 year, they used to have, let's say, about 100 disasters in a year globally. But in 2022, it has come to, let's say, 400 disasters in a year. Means the number of disasters has increased by fourfold, right, from 1972 to 2022. And not only the number of disasters has increased, but also intensity has also increased, and this is causing more problems for people. Okay, that's the thing. So this is chart number 1. Chart number 2 shows the share of loss in agriculture by hazard type. About 65% of losses were caused by droughts. Okay, so when we talk about agricultural practice in agriculture, right, whatever loss happens, it happens because of different kinds of hazards, and these hazards may be called as cyclone, drought, earthquake, flood, storm, tsunami, or multi hazards like that. Okay, so the highest percentage of one kind of, let's say, like, you know, hazard is drought. So drought causes the highest amount of losses in agriculture. Okay, out of all different types of these things, I mean, like, you know, hazards, drought causes the extreme loss. That's the thing. And the chart 3 shows the estimated loss in various product groups. Okay, various product groups means, like, you know, fruits and vegetables, what is the loss, then cereals, what is the loss, sugar crops, what is the loss, meat, dairy and eggs, what is the loss, let's say loss, roots and tubers, what is the loss, and all. So through this article, you will understand, like, you know, these extreme events, the number and intensity of these events has gone up, and it has caused damages to people. Like, it has caused damages to, let's say, like, you know, agriculture, and then also, like, you know, different kind of, let's say, crops that have been affected. That's the thing. Apart from this, chart 5 shows the total agricultural losses as share of agricultural GDP by country group. Okay, so here agricultural losses among different countries, among different country groups. For example, high income countries like USA, UK, like that. Upper middle income countries, lower middle income countries, low income countries, and small island developing states. Okay, small island developing states, like that, SIDS. So this is the thing. So this is a data point. If you go through it, you may be having some data, and this will be helpful for you to, let's say, like, you know, give some kind of, let's say, back your answer with some kind of data. Okay, that's the thing. So this is a good topic. Having understood this, we are now going to understand about another topic. This topic is also equally important. It says Center to introduce DNA face matching system at police stations across the country. Okay, so the central government has recently, let's say, like, you know, decided to introduce DNA and face matching systems. Means, like, they will introduce, let's say, like, you know, those technical devices. Those technical devices will be able to match the face of the criminals, of the suspects and all, and also they will be able to do DNA analysis. Okay, they will be able to do DNA analysis. So the thing is, recently the central government has passed an act, and this is known as Criminal Procedure Identification Act. What is the name of the act? I'm going to write down over here so that you remember, right? It is known as Criminal Procedure Identification Act. So Government of India has passed Criminal Procedure Identification Act, and through this act, basically, like, you know, they are introducing devices. These devices will be able to keep a record of the DNA of the suspects, and also they will be able to, let's say, like, you know, read the faces of the of those people. So this is the act, Criminal Procedure Identification Act, and they are going to introduce this thing in about 1300 police stations in India. Okay, 1300 police stations in India. So when we talk about this topic, why this topic is important or significant, it is for two reasons. One is it is a science and technology related thing. Okay, we can connect it with science and technology, and other thing is related to law and order. Law and order. Then the third is related to criminal justice system. Okay, related to criminal justice system. And it does have concerns related to privacy of the individuals. Okay, privacy of the individuals. So the thing is, like earlier the central government has, let's say, like, while introducing this particular act, the central government has talked about many things. Okay, so this law and order related thing comes under Ministry of Home Affairs. Okay, and Ministry of Home Affairs maintains a data which is known as NCRB. Okay, like it does have a body which is known as National Crime Records Bureau. Okay, it is known as National Crime Records Bureau. This National Crime Records Bureau comes up with a kind of data which is known as, like, like status of crimes in India, status of crime report in India, like that. So this is an annual publication of the Ministry of Home Affairs, and Ministry of Home Affairs keeps on coming up with, let's say, like one or other measure related to, let's say, law and order related things. So in this article they have talked about it will be implemented under the Criminal Procedure Identification Act, which was passed last year, the law that enables police and central investigating agencies to collect, store and analyze physical and biological samples. Okay, what they will be able to do, they will be able to collect, they will be able to store, they will be able to analyze what? Physical and biological samples. Okay, physical and biological samples. That's the thing. Okay, they'll be able to do. So this particular act, which is Criminal Procedure Identification Act of 2022, okay, this act replaces a previous act that was already in place. Which act does it replace? It replaces this like this Identification of Prisoners Act 1920. Okay, so we earlier had Identification of Prisoners Act 1920. So this act was in place. This act has been replaced by Criminal Procedure Identification Act, and they have, let's say, like, introduced the DNA and face analysis systems, and they are going to introduce it in 1300 police stations across the country. But many people are opposing this particular move. They are citing the privacy concerns. They are citing that privacy of the, let's say, citizens, privacy of the citizens will be compromised through this particular act. Okay, so you need to read this to understand little more. Then we have another topic. It says food labels to have QR code to help the visually disabled. What do we mean by QR code? QR stands for quick response. Okay, it stands for quick response. Okay, it stands for quick response code. So some of us may not be knowing what is the full form of QR. It means quick response code. So these are the codes. Now the FSSI, which is known as Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, FSSI, this body has decided that all the packaged foods that are going to be delivered to the consumers, these packaged foods will have a QR code, and this QR code have like once people scan, they will be getting a lot of information from it. Information that includes the information like, like for example, what are ingredients, nutritional information, or let's say allergens, manufacturing date, best before or expiry, or let's say like these kind of information will be available over here. And why? So that like physically like the blind people, or like those people who have visual disabilities, these people will be able to get more information through the QR code system. That's the thing. Okay, so this particular this particular initiative of the FSSI which is Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. This particular initiative is going to be pro this Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016, which recognizes the rights and needs of individuals with disabilities, which emphasize accessibility and promotion of health for persons with disabilities, like that. So this is to benefit these people. This is to benefit these people. That's the thing. Okay. So I hope it is clear, it is understood, and I hope the video is, let's say, like, regularly coming. Maybe the signal strength may be little low. Okay. I think the video is stucking. So we do have a question. So this question, I think I thought of including this question in the beginning, but the thing is, like, I'm going to discuss this question at a later point of time. So we have, okay, we do have another topic. Okay, it says US's top diplomat Borell calls for humanitarian pause to Israel-Hamas war. Okay, so European Union's top diplomat, the, let's say, like, the top diplomat of European Union has said that there should be humanitarian pause, like, the war that is happening between Israel and Hamas should be halted, should be stopped. Why it should be halted or stopped? So that, like, civilian people receive the supply, right, emergency supply over there, because like warfare that we are fighting, so warfare should be fought with some kind of rules. There are rules for warfares also. Many of us may have heard about this particular term that, like, everything is fair in love and war, but that's not the case. Okay, it is not fair. Everything is not fair in love and war. When we talk about war also, war has some kind of rules, and in case of war between states, there are international laws that are in place. These are known as international humanitarian laws. So this particular diplomat, it says norms apply regardless of the identity of the victim or perpetrator. Civilians in Gaza could not be held responsible collectively for Hamas action. Okay, so why they have said it? Because civilians, okay, civilians are being, right, civilians are being targeted by the Israeli authorities. Okay, civilians are being targeted by the Israeli authorities. Okay, so that's why they have said it this way. Okay, so now with this we will move to another topic quickly. So that will be the last topic, I think. So we have a question. You go through this question and let's say so now after going through this question, you can, let's say, solve it in your free time. Right, you download the PDF. We have another topic. It says World Bank Banga says geopolitics pose biggest but not only risk to world economy. Okay, so as of now, when we talk about geopolitics, geopolitics is associated with the wars that are being fought between nations. Okay, what are the wars that are being fought? One is, let's say, Russia-Ukraine war. Russia-Ukraine war. Second is Israel-Hamas war. Okay, Israel-Hamas war. And also within different countries also, if you talk about Niger, there are internal disturbance that is happening because military has taken control of their, let's say, like, political, politically appointed people. That's the thing. So it has caused a lot of problems. So this, I mean, like, Mr. Banga is the president, I mean, like, he is the chief of the International Monetary, of the World Bank. He has recently said that world economy is going, let's say, like, may go under turmoil. So it may face problems because of the geopolitical tension that is there. There are many places in the world where geopolitical tensions are there. For example, in South China Sea also, there is geopolitical tension. Okay, so you can go through this topic in your free time. I mean, like, it's just a kind of update on this topic. Then another, it says little more optimistic about India's economic growth than a few months ago. So the Reserve Bank of India has a committee which is known as Monetary Policy Committee. It comes up with bi-monthly monetary policy. So bi-monthly monetary policy means every 2 months the RBI comes up with some kind of decisions to control the inflation, right? And to, let's say, correct the economic trajectory. Okay, so if the economy is going down, so in that case they will tweak some of the quantitative or qualitative measure, so that's going to, let's say, lead to kind of growth in the economy. And if there is a high inflation in the economy, they will tweak those parameters to control the inflation in the economy also. So, like, this person, he is let's say like, member of the monetary policy committee. He recently said that like, the Indian economy is going to stabilize. So Indian economy is going to, let's say, go to a like, let's say kind of like, phase of growth. And not only he is saying, he also referred to the IMF's let's say like, outlook data. So IMF have come up with its report where they have, let's say like, India's GDP, they have talked about that India's GDP is going to grow at a faster rate. Okay, this is the thing. So you can go through these articles. Bhutan and China make progress in border talks. Okay, so this is, Bhutan is, let's say, our neighboring country. China is also a neighboring country. So anything that is happening between our neighbors is a concern for India also. So the thing is like Bhutan and China, so they are making progress in border talks. So they do have some kind of border related disputes, the way that India has border disputes with China. Because China claims Arunachal Pradesh to be its own territory, okay? But the thing is, Arunachal Pradesh is an integral part of India, okay? Recently, Chinese authorities has released a map also in that regard. But India has categorically pointed out that this map is incorrect. It does not showcase the real information. It does not showcase the accurate information. That's the thing. So like in this article, they have just discussed about, let's say, delimitation and demarcation of the Bhutan-China boundary. Means like, they are going to draw the boundary between Bhutan and China properly so that like, they can overcome the disputes, right, between Bhutan and China. So there were pages in page number 1 and page number 10 also. Then we have another article. This article says AI to help construction industry face challenges. Okay. So the emergence of new technologies such as artificial intelligence, 3D printing and robotics would transform the construction industry, one of the oldest and largest industries in the world, and help it address multiple challenges effectively, according to a white paper by an advisory firm. Okay, like that. So artificial intelligence does find its application in construction industry also. We need to understand this because in 2023 mains exam UPSC has asked about what is the concept of artificial intelligence. It has also asked about like, like the applications of artificial intelligence in diagnostics. It talked about that whether there are privacy risks associated with this. But here we are talking about another application of artificial intelligence. So the thing is, whenever a science and technology related topic comes, you need to focus on its applications. Where are its applications? So in that light, you need to read about it. In this article, they have talked about that how artificial intelligence may help the construction industries to solve the challenges that it is facing. Okay, that's the thing. Go through this article in your free time. You will, let's say like, understand a lot on this. So that's all from my side for the day. Thank you so much everyone who have been participating, especially Chirag and Vijay Lal. You people have participated well during today's session. Okay, thank you so much for joining today's session. So is this topic relevant for PT? Yes, this topic was relevant for PT and it's also relevant for the mains exam. Okay, so that's all for the day from my side. Thank you so much everyone for joining today's session.